And welcome, and thank you for making it out here. Wasn't on the schedule, but we're really excited about the prospects moving down the road. And also, thank you for joining us at the Ochsner Sports Performance Center. We're also live on the, I will remember, Josh, Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network. And we're here for a really good reason. And by the way, did you hear the thunder and the lightning in the background? We need more of that in the building. You know, it's almost too quiet in here. I was over with Matt Ryan. I work in noise. So when it was quiet, it was like Sunday service. Too quiet. Let's have some fun. So we're excited about the fact that we're bringing in somebody who wants to be here, who's got amazing credentials. And Adam Silver, in fact, just put out a statement. And I don't know if you saw this, but it kind of sums it up for me, because I have been around him from a distance. He broke my heart in 2004, and I told him. But this is from Adam Silver. Joe brought tremendous credibility to his role at the league office, is one of the most genuine and respected people in all of basketball. And I've heard that from a lot of sources, Joe. He also goes on to say his exceptional playing career, an amazing playing career. And don't forget, Joe won 2 titles, back-to-back titles with the Detroit Pistons, and he was the finals MVP. That goes a long way. He was All-NBA 3 separate times. Well, I could go down a list of accomplishments. And by the way, the thing I like the most maybe, he averaged 40 minutes a game one season. In this day of load management, the 2 dirtiest words in the basketball language. And Joe averaged 23 a game, but he averaged 40 minutes a contest. He didn't want out. That's discipline, that's hunger, that's passion, that's everything we need here. And Joe knows it. And Adam Silver also said, an executive that provided elite understanding of the game, strong relationships around the NBA, which we all need, connections, relationships. Grateful for Joe's leadership over the past 3 years, wish him well as he begins his new role with the Pelicans. We're excited, Joe. We really are. So we're gonna give you a run. It's a good time for all of us. It's a good beginning for all of us. So I wanna thank everybody on all our social media platforms, because we're on, I mentioned Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network. We're on Pelicans.com, and we're going worldwide with social media now. So thank you for joining us. Now, Joe's family is here, and I wanna welcome all of you. And I've only been here 13 years, but I fell in love with this city. So thank you for being here and being a part of it. That's Debbie, Aaron, Jordan, Deanna, and Dallas. And I hope I didn't forget anybody, but he's really cute. That's great. Good days and a good beginning for us. Now, before I continue on Joe, let's bring up our governor, and that is Mrs. Gail Benson.
Thank you, Joel, and good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for being here on this very important day. Over my years as governor of the Pelicans, I have had the pleasure of getting to know Joe Dumars. During that time, he has become a trusted resource and valuable advisor. Most recently, my interactions with him have been at the NBA League office. He most recently served as Executive Vice President, Head of Basketball Operations at the NBA League office from 2022 to 2025, where he was responsible for overseeing all basketball operations, including the enforcement of playing rules, interpretations, conduct and discipline, policies and procedures relating to the operation of games. As anyone will tell you who ever worked with Joe, he will always give you straight, truthful, and honest feedback, even when it's not what you want to hear. All of the NBA have benefited from Joe's wise counsel, high character and leadership during his years overseeing basketball operations for the league. He has seen the inner workings of each and every NBA team during his last 4 years at the NBA. I am confident this will benefit us as we move forward. Since we announced the hiring of Joe, many people from around the NBA have contacted me, not just to congratulate us on hiring Joe, but to express this sadness that he would be leaving his position with the NBA. They echoed my feelings and confidence in Joe's leadership. Every description of Joe included accountability, tough, honest, and a winner. He has been a winner at every level of the game. He is a Hall of Fame player, an award-winning team executive, and as I mentioned, the trusted leader of NBA basketball operations. While making changes in leadership is never easy for me, I am confident Joe is the right person to lead our team and create a sustaining, winning culture that can compete for championships. As a proud native of Louisiana, he knows how important our teams are to our community and what our people expect of the teams they support. He and I have spoken about this, and I know this is important. A tough, resilient, and of course, winning team is what our fans deserve, and through our discussions, I am confident that Joe shares that belief. I have promised him every resource he needs to compete and win. Joe has my full support to make any decision he deems necessary that will allow us to get closer to winning an NBA championship. I am delighted to welcome Joe, his wife Debbie, and their family to the New Orleans Pelicans family. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our new Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations, Joe Dumars.
Thank you. Happy to be home. Happy to be back in Louisiana. It's been a whirlwind journey for me. But before I get started, first of all, I want to just thank Mrs. Benson for this opportunity to actually be able to come back home and to do this, to take on this task. As Mrs. Benson said, we've spent quite a bit of time together and just talked about, the main thing we talked about really is the culture of Louisiana, the fans, this organization, good people, surrounding yourself with the right people. And so I feel very confident taking on this role primarily because of her and her insight and her approach to people and how you deal with people. I'll say this, and I'll say it with as much humility as possible, but there's just not a lot of places I would have left New York for. I enjoyed my job in New York. It was great. Loved it at the league office. All the people on the 20th floor that I worked with in New York, all those people were great. I loved working with them. I wasn't looking to leave, but sometimes opportunities come along and you know, right place, right time, right people. And that's what happened here with the Pelicans, with Ms. Benson. So I really want to thank Mrs. Benson for this opportunity to come home. The other thing I want to do is just say this, is that I've gotten to see a lot of stuff over the years throughout my NBA career. But there are certain things that are universal, I think. And I think you fill your building with like-minded good people. And I think you win with good people. And I often say this, just because you're a good person don't mean you're not a tough person. So you can be a good person and tough at the same time. And I don't stand here making a lot of proclamations about, I'm pounding my fist and doing this, but We really want to hire good people here. We really want to bring in the right type of players here. We want people that are going to embrace New Orleans, are going to embrace being in this city, in this state. If you don't know the fans of Louisiana, you may not get it. Like, you know, in my house in Michigan, you know, we got Saints stuff here. Like, we're diehard Saints fans in Michigan. We didn't grow up Detroit Lions fans. We were Saints fans. And so I think if you're from here, you understand what it is to be a fan of Louisiana. And I say that because I say, you know, if I'm living in Michigan and LSU is playing, I didn't go to LSU, but I'm pulling for LSU. You know, I'm pulling for URL. I'm pulling for Louisiana Tech. And that's just the way we are here as fans from Louisiana. And I love that about this. And so the team, the players, all of my colleagues that I'll be working with here, I truly believe in, like, you build a great culture where everyone feels great coming into the building every day. Win, lose, or draw, you feel great coming into the building. So I'll put a tremendous emphasis on culture, what the building is like, and then the basketball part, that's for myself and my staff to make sure we pick the right people, but the culture has to be right first. And so I'll put a heavy emphasis on that and try to build it the right way, and then we'll go from there. So I just wanted to open up and like I said, thank Mrs. Benson, thank all the people back in the NBA, thank Adam Silver, Mark Tatum. Those guys were incredible to work with for the last 3 years. But I'm super happy to be here and super happy to be home. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We're going to do a Q&A now with all of you that are here, and we appreciate your time, the media that's been here. And if you're not familiar with, and we're going to do a presentation. You want to do that first before you do the Q&A? That'll be great. Let's do that with, thanks, Joe. And then we'll get to the Q&A. And if you could post this. All right. I know you're going to put it, you don't have to put it
Which
on,
way?
I promise.
No.
Which way? The other way, with your number.
Oh, okay, all right.
Here you go.
Looking good, yes, right there. Okay, thank you. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Coming up for you. All right, good. And I think we're just gonna make sure the TV cameras get that as well.
One of the best backcourts in the history of the game. Joe and Isaiah. And don't forget all the championships they did in the Eastern Conference. 6 consecutive Eastern Conference finals and a championship in 2004 as an executive. So we'll open it up now, and I'll move around with the microphone so everybody can be heard, Joe. But give everybody an idea.
Joe, how you doing? David Grubb right there. When you took this position, were there any operational edicts when you came in as far as retaining your head coach or having to trade players? Are those things on the table? Or do you have an opportunity to come in and assess the organization from top to bottom and make recommendations going forward?
What was the first part of your question?
Are there any operational edicts that you've come in with that mandates?
Yeah, no, he is. None whatsoever. I read that last week. I had a mandate. I was like, if I have, nobody's called me and told me that. Like, no, really, absolutely zero. When me and Mrs. Benson talked, she really just said what she said here. She said to me, she said, Joe, I would love to know what it feels like to win an NBA title. That was it. That was as close to an edict as you would get. And so I intend to do just that, what you just said, was like get to like know people first. Because I don't know the culture inside the building. I don't know the people. I know some of the people. I know Willie. I know someone's going to ask me about the coach and Willie. I've been knowing Willie forever. Great man. But Willie and I, we haven't even sat down and talked yet. Hopefully today, hopefully later on this evening if we can catch up and have time. But we haven't even had a chance to sit down and talk yet just because yesterday was my first day here. And so So I haven't even really had a chance to do that yet. I'm slowly starting to do it now and like talk to everyone, but no mandate, zero, nothing like that.
My name is Fletcher Mackle. Nice to meet you. I was going to ask you, we all hear rhetoric, and we've heard rhetoric for a long time. It's great, but how do you make that a reality? Are there any core principles that you can elaborate on as far as what you said from a culture perspective, or kind of non-negotiables, just for some more perspective and depth on maybe how you plan on doing it?
Yeah, just the standards that you set as an organization. Like you have to set standards, and you can't waver from those standards. They can't be like the first week of the season, that here's the standard, and as the season goes on, things slowly start changing. That's not championship. That's not contending. That's not elite basketball. That's not elite anything when you allow things to just slide. And so it's just setting standards early on, and then like you have to hold to that and hold everybody accountable to that. I think this, Fletcher, too. I think, and I had this conversation with Ms. Benson yesterday. Actually, we were talking about how you raise kids, right? And so but I think this is true about teams too. I can say anything I want to say. I can come in here and I can rattle off this, and this. But people have to see you live it every day. Like championship culture, like you're talking about playing into June every year. I can assure you, Fletcher, that is not this. You're not going to be up one day. They have to see you come in like a rock every day. And they have to know, we lost last night, we won last night, doesn't matter. Like this organization, we're gonna do things the right way, and we're not gonna waver from that. And I think culture is what you see every day when you come in. It can't fluctuate from day to day. It can't fluctuate from win to loss. That's what culture is, and that's how you get there. That's how you get to playing in June every year.
Hey, Joe, Doug Mouton. Do you have a relationship with Zion Williamson now, and what are your impressions of him overall at this point?
Well, I'll say this. At the league office, I've had to talk to Zion a few times. So I do have a relationship with Zion that started in my role at the league office. I won't go into those conversations there, but we've talked since then. And I've talked to Zion since I became EVP here, and we had exceptional conversations on the phone. Actually, I've talked to every player. Willie and I talked, 5 minutes, Willie, on the phone, something like that? Like, we talked for a couple of minutes on the phone. But I've talked to every player on the phone. I called every player and talked to each one of them individually. So, yeah, I tried to reach out and make sure that I touch these guys and let them know, let's go. It's time. It's time here in New Orleans.
Hey, Joe, Aaron Summers here. I work for the team, so I'll see a lot of you, but you've had a couple stops since your couple championships. Mm-hmm. What have you gained from your time with the Kings in the league office that you're going to bring into your approach this time around?
So what's been good about that is it's great because I had to deal with all 30 teams every day. I mean, like it was nonstop. And so in the course of my position at the league office, what you end up seeing is how every single team runs their business. And for me, it was great to just pick up, because you can pick up something from every organization. And so what I tried to do is pick up best practices from every organization. I dealt with every organization. I saw how each person, each team dealt with certain issues. And I just, I filed that away as I was, doing my job every day. And it was good. It was good to, it's good to get thoughts from besides just your small circle. It's good to see what everyone else does on a daily basis. And I think that was great.
Hey, Joe, Shamit Dua here. You're inheriting a team that just had the second worst season in franchise history. Mm-hmm. Your starting point guard is going to miss some time to start the season next year. Just what are the goals for coming into next season? Are you trying to push this team back into the playoffs, or is there perhaps a longer, more patient approach there?
So you build a culture where every game your team thinks that you can win every game. That you never walk on the court and think there's no chance for us to win. And so when you do that, the results will come from that. But to put something on the wall right here and now and say, well, we want to do this, right? That doesn't matter what you put on the wall. It's what you build on the ground first. So my focus will be just what we're building here. And as we build that, the results will come from that. And so you won't hear me make any predictions about we're going to do this. You don't do that. That's not what winning is. Like, you can go to any winning team, NFL, NBA, wherever, all 30 NBA teams, the really, really good teams, you'll never see them talking about that. What they will talk about is what we do every day, what we do every single day to be great. And I think that more than anything else is what we want to do here. We want to build every day on just being great every day, and I promise you the results will show on the floor.
I had another question. You became a senior executive at a very young age. And now there's been about a decade since you oversaw your own team. Just another personal question. There's only 30 of these jobs.
Yeah.
To get an opportunity like this again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but does it make you feel 20 years younger? Do you feel invigorated to maybe have this opportunity, knowing that these jobs are very rare?
I don't feel 20 years younger, but but Fletcher, I have a great appreciation for these positions. You'll never hear me bash anybody in this position. As we move forward and work together and stuff, you'll hear me talk about, man, Griff did some good stuff here, man. Griff did some nice stuff. He got some nice pieces here. It's a hard job. I mean, this is a really, really hard job. I mean, you're in that glass box every day. And every day you got to make decisions and you got to walk the walk. And it's not easy to do these jobs. So I have a great appreciation for these positions and for everyone that does these positions. I'm super impressed. And to your question, directly to your question, yeah, grateful for it. But as I said, I was completely content and happy walking home every evening in New York after work and wasn't looking. But like I said, when certain situations come, you just know, man. I said again, right place, right city, right people. This is one I was like, this is the one I will do. This is the one I'll do.
Joe, right here in the front, Rod Walker with the Times-Picayune. You mentioned that you got bits and pieces from different teams. What was it about this particular team that you really liked, or that you saw?
I like the core here. I think there's some really good young pieces here. I think that there's a fan base. If you win in New Orleans, I think everybody in this room knows, you start winning in New Orleans, people are going to come out, man, in droves. And so I know that this was, first of all, an incredible fan base. Secondly, for me at this point in my career, ownership of where I work was of paramount importance. And so coming here and working for Ms. Benson, coming here and looking at the core of who's here, I've been knowing Willie since he was at Cooley High in Detroit. And so I just thought all those things together, for me personally, it was just like, this is the right fit. This is perfect right here.
Over here, Joe again, Deer Grove again. You came from an organization with the Pistons that kind of set the standard at its time when you were a player and then early in your executive career for going the extra mile for players and for the fans and all those things, building a world-class arena, being the first team to have its own private jet. When you look at, one of the criticisms of the Pelicans has been the fan experience, and Ms. Benson addressed that in her statement when you were hired. For the basketball operations and all those things, how important is it to get a stadium deal done or to get the arena renovated and to make the fan experience for Pelicans fans better?
So I can't speak specifically to exactly your question, but I can say this. I trust what Ms. Benson and her execs we've talked about. I have zero doubt about that. What I am concerned about is the product that we put on the floor, for whether it's this arena, Smoothie King, or somewhere else or wherever. For me, like, put the right product out there, it's going to sell out. Fans are going to come. Like, that's, Detroit, we've had some incredible runs there in Detroit in the past. Like, and they're having another one right now. They're doing great right now. But it's all based on what you build, and I've always said this, is that when it's at its best, the product on the floor reflects the city. So you know, there was a time you come to Detroit, the bad boys might touch you a little bit, and but that reflected the toughness of Detroit. And so I think the same thing here. This is a resilient city. Like New Orleans is resilient, and people, they don't fold here, they don't just give up. And so you want a team to reflect that. And so for me, that's the main thing for me, is to put the right product on the floor. You can trust Ms. Benson what she says. Like I trust what she's told me, and I have zero doubt about that. And I'm just thinking about, okay, that's gonna happen. Let's get a great product on the floor.
Jake Madison over here. You mentioned trying to understand the culture of the team. What's your process for doing that? What are your goals over the next month for kind of seeing where this organization is as a whole?
Listen more than you talk. Listen more than you talk. Look, I got a lot of experience. I've seen a lot of stuff over the years, but I haven't seen it here in New Orleans. And so to come here and just talk, and you're not listening. I've yesterday did a lot of listening. I did a lot of listening this morning. After this is over with, the rest of the week, I sit down with people and I tell them, like, tell me what's happening, and what's going on, what can be better, what are we doing wrong here, what are we doing right here, like who's got positive energy, who's got bad energy in the building. Like I'm asking questions and letting people tell me what's happening. To come in, you can have all the experience in the world, but if you don't know the culture of the building, if you can't talk to people and let them talk to you, you're missing. You're missing, and so I don't want to miss. I want to listen to people tell me what's happening.
Joe Schmidt here again. Since your time in Detroit, the league has rapidly embraced analytics. There's just been a great proliferation of that across the league. Where do you fall on data-driven decision-making, not just on the basketball court itself, like X's and O's, but also in terms of the moves you might be making as a front office or just helping progress the team forward?
Yeah, at the league office, I've had the opportunity to, quite frankly, the analytics department at the NBA office is right on my floor. It's on the 20th floor with the whole group there. So I was close with that entire group over in analytics at the league office. So I think there's absolutely a place for it in this game. I think it has to be used the right way, though. I think you can't replace basketball with analytics. I think you still have to have incredible basketball minds in the building that can see the game. And then I also think that there's a place for analytics where you can combine those two together. So I do think it's a place for it. I'm not like either or. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not mutually exclusive of each other. Like you have to have analytics and you can't have basketball minds, or you have basketball minds and can't have analytics. So for me, I think it's just how you use it, and I embrace. That's why I got close to all those guys at the league office, because I want to know, I want to learn, I want to understand what they're seeing, and test it up against what I'm seeing, with my eyes and all. So, yeah, definitely a place for it for me.
Hi, Joe. Ali Kosel here. How have you evolved since you worked up in Detroit? It's been 10 years from this position. How have you learned, adapted?
Yeah.
What can you say about that?
Yeah, so where the game was more half court, big man centric. The floor is way more space now, obviously more threes now. Pace of the game is much more than it used to be. So, you're there, you're living it every day, and you're watching the game evolve into something new. And so I think you have to be progressive-minded enough to change with the game. I don't think you can come in and say, hey, I'm gonna build a team the way I won my other championships. I don't think you can do that. I think there are some principles that you have. You gotta still defend people. You gotta still share the ball. There are certain things that don't change, but there are aspects of the game that have clearly changed. Like I said, the spacing of the floor, the pace of the game, the amount of three shot, players who can play multiple positions, like all those things have changed over the years.
In the center, Brett Martel with AP. In regards to the number of man games missed to injury this past season for this club, is that something that you want to analyze or address in any way, or do you think it was really just bad luck and there's only so much management can do?
Find out what's happening. Like, so, you see it from afar. I'm watching it this past season. I'm watching all the injuries happen here, and, I don't know exactly what's happening. And so, as I said before, I'll sit and talk with medical staff and all the health and performance people, and at some point I'll get to sit down with them this week, hopefully, and just kind of get a handle on what's been going on, what's been happening, why are these injuries happening, what is your thoughts on this? I think that's the best thing that you can do is listen to the people who are dealing with this on a daily basis. Don't come in with any preconceived notions, because I wasn't here, I don't know what happened, so.
Hey Joe, back row here, Madeline Adams from Fox 8. I know you said there's not a lot of jobs that you would leave New York for, and I know you've had success at so many places in your career, but what would it mean to you to bring success here to your home state team, to the Pelicans?
Thank you for that question. I wouldn't have come if I didn't think that. Like, I wouldn't have just, to take a job just to take a job, like, for me, that's of no interest. So I wouldn't have come if I didn't think that we could build and become winners here. And so that was the whole purpose for me coming. Otherwise, I would have stayed where I was. But I think you have to be able to pick the right place, the right time, the right people, the right team. You have to be able to assess that. And then you got to be honest with yourself. I think you have to be self-aware. You got to know who you are. You got to know what you can do, what you can't do. You got to know what works for you, what doesn't work for you. I just think New Orleans works for me.
Just a lighter question, Joe. You know, there's the famous meme of you holding multiple phones on while you take
flip phone?
Yeah. Do you have new phones now? Yeah. You got an iPhone?
I have two phones, but they're two iPhones now.
All right. Just making sure.
Yeah.
If I can ask one more question.
Sure, Fletcher.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I think when you were with the league office, you were the person who was in the room at the lottery with the ping pong balls.
Yes.
Are you going to bring any luck this year, and are you going to represent the team on the dais?
So I don't know. I was thinking about that. So it's my department that we oversaw the room where it actually takes place in the back, and I would always be in. I've been in there for the last 3 or 4 years. And I was thinking, I think I might want to go back in there with my staff in there. Those are all my guys I work with there. So I don't know yet. I was thinking about that, Fletcher. I was thinking about that yesterday. I was like, well, the dais I'm going to be in the back, so I don't know yet.
On that note, you have a big draft coming up. Sorry, right here again. Yeah, you have a big draft coming up. Just outside of getting the right person in the building, what are some qualities that you might look for from a pick that is a top potential 3 or 4 pick?
So I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
Yeah, what qualities would you look for in a pick that's like top 3 or 4 outside of just getting like the right person in the building?
Listen, I think whether it's the top 4 pick or whether it's the 50th pick, the approach that guys take to this is like, look, you're not going to be successful just with talent alone. Like, there are some intangibles that you have to have. Like, you have to have, like, you got to want to be great. Like, every player in the NBA is not striving to be just great. And so you got to figure that out. Like, does this guy really want to be great? You got to have the intangibles. Is he a worker? Is he going to show up? Does he have toughness? All of those intangible things, besides he can run fast, he can jump high, he can shoot the ball. Once you get past that, I can see that. Anybody in here can see that. What you don't know is what's here. Like, does this guy have it? And so that's the part that you have to put tremendous amount of emphasis in with your staff to dig in to find out, what's this guy made of? Like, does this guy really want to be great? Is he going to come here and be a part of the culture here? Is he going to buy in? Those are the things for me, whether it's the draft, free agency, trade. Those are the things I want to know more than anything else. And with all of my staffs, I've always said that. Like, look, here's the thing, I'll just say this. Whether you draft a player, sign a free agent, or make a trade for a guy, there's 2 people walking in that building. There's the player and the person. You better know who the person is. Because the player can walk in there and look beautiful, but the person may not be the right person for your building. And so for me, I always put a tremendous emphasis on who's the person. I can see the talent, but I need to know who the person is. So we'll do that here. We'll put a tremendous amount of emphasis on the person and not just the beautiful talent that you can see with your own eyes.
Joe, when it comes to you as the person, what kind of personality are we getting? Are we getting Joe Cool or are we getting G.I. Joe?
I'm a mixture of both of those. I think you can be cool, but there's some definite G.I. Joe here. There's some definite G.I. Joe here. But like I said, I'm not loud. I don't think you have to be loud. I don't think you have to be obnoxious and arrogant and all of that. But I think people see that you stand and you don't move and you don't compromise what's what. You know what I mean? Like, you don't compromise on, like, the standard. Like, that won't change with me. Like, you can't get me to move off of high standards. Like, and, you know, I can say it with a smile, but I'm not going to move off of high standards. And so if you can't live in that space, it's probably not for you here. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. And just want to remind everybody, because it's still etched in my memory, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace. Okay? He's put together a championship team. He's been Executive of the Year. So we are really fortunate to have somebody with a resume like Joe with us. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and look forward to a lot of success.